Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of the Solidarity Challenge here live, and we are very, very happy to get into more PES action. Once again, I've got Harry and Darren joining me. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. A fantastic day yesterday. Darren, your first foray into the virtual pitch. How did you find it?
Well, I've got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed Steve McManaman against Robert Pires. I chuckled away last night, but I reminisced about that. In fact, I was straight on the phone to Steve when we finished just to rub it in a little bit more. And even he couldn't work out how he couldn't play better than he did. So that was good. I really enjoyed it. Nice to have Harry alongside me to guide me through the technical stuff. And really looking forward to today because we've got some great matches coming up again today, haven't we?
We do. Harry, there was definitely entertainment on the line yesterday, specifically in that game between Maka and Perez. But there was some good players as well, players like Antoine, Griezmann, etc. looking good.
Yeah, certainly, and Mo Farah as well. You know, a win on penalties, certainly not the way he would have liked to have made the next round against Tommy Fleetwood, but he's still got the job done and he's still alive and kicking in the competition. So there's hope for Sir Mo yet.
Do you know, I've got to say, but this has the look, you know, of an FA Cup where you've got kind of the non-league team and they go and pull the Premier League. So if we get a situation at some stage down the line where Pires faces Griezmann, then you've got you've got the exact situation. You've got the absolute underdog against the apparent master, the tournament favourite, and the golfing ability and experience between all the competitors. I mean, it's a real look at a draw scenario, isn't it? Because Griezmann at the moment looks unbeatable. And then we've got everybody else battling to try and get through. I think it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, Antoine definitely looks the favourite, but just to remind you guys as to why we are doing it, the Solidarity Challenge is a charity event to support the WHO in their fight against the coronavirus, of course, the global pandemic that has been going on for quite some time now. We're all embroiled up into it, but if you do want to donate to the Solidarity Challenge, it's www.solidaritychallenge.org. All donations are sent directly to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. And just to remind you guys, the tournament rules that we are playing, if you're familiar with PES or you are not, this is how it is going to break down in terms of the games. Plenty of celebrity players involved. It's a direct knockout format. And after 90 minutes, we will go to penalties. It's obviously 10-minute games. We don't want to be sitting here playing a full 90 minutes of it. We might see players like Maka down a little bit more, Darren, but you know, we are playing shorter halves as is normal.
I think they could have played 90 minutes and it still would have been 0-0, Chris. Don't worry about that. It still would have been 0-0 and decided by penalties, however long it would have gone on that one.
Well, let's have a look at some of the results from the first round of matches. We've got a couple more games to play today in that first round, but just having a run through, of course, we did see that infamous game between Steve McManaman and Robert Pires, but as said, Antoine Griezmann looking really, really good. Sir Mo Farah, I mean, let's touch on it again there, Harry. Sir Mo actually didn't look too bad on the sticks, did he? It was unfortunate that it did go to penalties for Tommy Fleetwood, but probably a deserved winner in the end.
Yeah, had his chances, did Sir Mo. We were a bit disappointed he didn't choose Arsenal, but well, luckily Robert Pires came through for his old club. But yeah, Sir Mo, you know, he had his chances, and I'm looking forward to seeing as he gets a bit more game time under his belt and on the sticks, as you said. Maybe we can see a few goals being banged in here or there by Sir Mo.
You see, that sums up the problem, Chris. There's your problem. When you look at the scoreboard from yesterday, you have the experienced game player, Antoine Griezmann, 5-0 against Ludovic Julian. And then you have 4 inexperienced players, Tommy Fleetwood, Sir Mo Farah, Steve McManaman, Robert Pires, decided by penalties. And this is the problem. They're okay in general play, but you get around the penalty area and try and score. And that's where the difficulty comes in. And I think we're going to see it today. I think that's what we'll see again.
Well, we may do. The first game coming up is another one of your mates, Jermaine Genius, going up against Liv Cook. And yeah, I mean, is at this point he just has to try and score? Is that pretty much what Jermaine's plan has to be?
Well, I think that's got to be the idea for all of them, especially if you play Griezmann. You know you're going to need to score 6 to get through. I don't know yet whether JJ's been practicing or not. What I do know is that he probably will have done, but he might be doing it in secret, so he might not let on. But I'm looking forward to this one as much as I'm looking forward to Maka's. I look forward to Maka's game yesterday. And Liv and Jermaine know each other. So there's going to be a bit of rivalry in there. So we've got Mr. Style against Miss Freestyle. I think you described this one as. It's going to be great. And I just hope that Liv can do me a favour and beat JJ so that I can rub it in like I can with Maka.
Harry, are we expecting a similar sort of thing to what we've seen yesterday, and maybe seeing guys just picking up the controller for the first time? We're probably going to expect that sort of thing, but is there any tips you would offer them if they are listening?
See, I actually think Liv Cook's been putting the hours in. You know, I was watching on social media all of last week, and she's been plugging in the console. She's been getting the hours under her belt here. So Jermaine might have a bit of a game on his hands here. I'm looking forward to it. See if,
absolutely brilliant. Music to my ears, Harry. Brilliant.
I'm really interested to see if a freestyle kind of mindset can be translated onto the virtual pitch, because if so, I mean, it could be a really, really tough game for Jermaine here.
Well, before we get into the game, Darren is going to chat to both the players.
So we are just about ready for the next one. Jermaine Genius against Liv Cook. Now, I was excited, JJ, yesterday for Maka, and he played Robert Pires, and it went well for him until it came to scoring goals. And now I'm looking at Liv today thinking she's got to do the business for me, because I can't have you win this match. You know that, don't you? I can't have you sauntering through this and looking really, really good. There's a lot of pressure on Liv from me to actually do me a favour against you.
Yeah. I'm not feeling that confident. I know Liv likes, you know, she's a gamer. I haven't been in the gaming world for a good few years now, but, you know, it could be just like a football.
Oh, right, okay. Hang on,
it could just come rushing back to me. You never know.
Liv's not a gamer.
You're a gamer, man. You're a gamer.
Excuses, all right? 2 days ago, I didn't know how to shoot.
You just told me a minute ago you're talking to the world champion.
What?
You just said a minute ago you're talking to like the world champion of PES.
Yeah, to ask how I shoot.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, it's some sort of advice.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I've got news for you though, Liv. If you actually know how to shoot, that is going to be a big advantage, because a lot of people who have played this so far have no idea how to shoot. So if you can do that, you're further down the line than most that we've seen already. So that might be a big thing for you.
Well, let's go for it. I'm excited. And JJ, if I do win, you're never going to live this down.
Is that a little pun in there? Never going to live this down. You're a
oh.
Honestly, like it, Liv. Like it.
I tell you something, I can actually agree with her that if you do lose this, you will not live it down. Now, I can agree. Liv is exactly right there.
You know what, right? I came into this in a friendly mindset, but I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not having two people ganging up on me. I'm not having it. Watch. I'm going to give it a right.
I don't like to lose. Liv doesn't lose. So I came into this ready to win.
Come on, let's do this then. Let's do it.
I think this is going to be
fantastic. It's not friendly no more. We're not friends anymore.
Friendly.
All I will say to both of you is good luck. Enjoy it. We will speak after. To the victor goes the spoils. To the loser goes the banter. We wish you well.
See you later.
So we are ready for this one, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Barcelona against Manchester United. It's Jermaine Genius against Liv Cook. And just like the game involving Steve McManaman, I've got one of my partners and one of my colleagues involved in this match. So if Liv Cook can do the business, Harry, that is going to make me smile and make me laugh.
I think that's probably going to spur her on a little bit. I mean, I know Liv likes to win in whatever she does, be it freestyle football or be it on the virtual pitch. I know she's been getting some tips as well, as you were able to pick her brains before the interview pre-match. So it's going to be a fun one. And honestly, if the world champion, ex-world champion of PES has given her any indication of how to set up a Manchester United team, I think Jermaine Genius might be in for a bit of a tricky one here.
Yeah, Messi's shot. It was nice football there by Jermaine, who's playing as Barcelona today. Pinging the ball around through the centre of the park, and then the shot there from Messi just over the top of the crossbar. I wonder in this next series of matches whether the shooting is actually going to pose as big a problem as it did in the earlier games. That seems to be the big issue for people who aren't overly experienced at PES, the fact that they can get themselves in the position to score a goal, and then, of course, the actual act of getting the ball in the back of the net proves to be too complicated.
Yeah, it can be quite tricky, trying to find that sweet spot of the power bar where you don't want to be blasting it over, but you still want to get enough pace and good enough strike on the ball to get it past the virtual goalkeeper. But it's an early shot there from Jermaine, so signs of life.
Here's Sergio Busquets coming forward for Barcelona, being controlled by Jermaine Genius. Luis Suarez there ran into Nemanja Matic. And here's Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing it up now to Marcus Rashford, who's got a bit of time and a bit of room to turn, and he's looking to slip McTominay in, but Jordi Alba was back there defensively for Barcelona. What do you made of the start for the pair of them then, Harry? It was a nice, fluent move at the outset from Jermaine, but just one or two signs that Liv might be settling down as well.
Yeah, defensively, Liv has done well to try and snuff out any danger that's coming her way, and attacking-wise, she looks a little bit hesitant at the moment. I'd probably give the edge to Genius early on, but obviously still a lot of virtual gameplay still to be had. We'll have to see if the nerves maybe calm down here for Liv.
Well, Jermaine was silky smooth as a midfield player. We'll see whether he's got that silky smooth ability here, controlling this Barcelona team. Liv, the freestyler, we might see one or two tricks. There's an interesting sliding ball that went over there. Jermaine's got it back again, though, with Antoine Griezmann. And he can come forward now with Rakitic. Barcelona looking to get on the attack here with Luis Suarez and Harry Maguire being controlled by Liv. Cook could only partially clear. Suarez again with a chance. And then he went down. And Jermaine is keeping the pressure on here. Messi with the shot. And that wasn't very far wide at all. Goalkeeper was down. There's the yellow card for the Lindelof challenge quite a lot earlier. But that was a good move by Jermaine, and it was a decent shot at the end of it all too.
Yeah, the yellow card comes out. Got the ball, but unfortunately got the man first. And it was a nice strike in the end. If I was Jermaine there, though, I'd probably be asking the referee why he hasn't stopped that for the yellow card and given me the free kick in a better position. Instead, he played advantage, and the shot in the end just wide.
Knowing Jermaine, that is exactly the question he's shouting at the screen at the moment. That is absolutely the case. I know that to be a fact. So 0-0. And there's a yellow card for PK. So it's going to be a free kick here to Manchester United, Liv Cook's team, in a decent position. Now, what do you do here? What's the best way to get a good strike at goal from this kind of distance?
Well, looking at how central it is, I'm not sure if up and over the wall's probably the best option. I might go for it this way anyway.
Yeah, too high, Bruno Fernandes. That's been the problem in the main, hasn't it, for the more inexperienced player? The fact the shots are just too high. They rise over the bar. They're not keeping them down enough.
Yeah, quite tricky, especially with free kicks that are so central as well. Oftentimes you want to try and either curl it around the wall or try and get it up and down. But because it was just outside the D, there was just a little bit too much to ask for there from Bruno Fernandes. But, well, that will be, well, I suppose you could say one of the first official strikes on goal for Liv. So that will give her a bit of confidence here going forwards.
Well, JJ's played this out from the edge of his own 6-yard box. He's going for goal of the decade here, trying to pass it all the way through. And he's managed to keep possession so far. And then Antoine Griezmann gives it away to Juan Mata. That would have been quite a move had he got through there and managed to score. Here's Aaron Wan-Bissaka running forward for Manchester United. Liv Cook on the attack. Bruno Fernandes. And the tackle made over there by Clement Longley. And now Antoine Griezmann. Suarez closed down by Maguire. And that's going to be a free kick. One thing we are seeing in this match is that when they are defending both teams, they're quickly getting players towards the ball, aren't they? Not really allowing the other team to turn and find any space.
Yeah, certainly seeing proactive defending, I suppose you could call it, from both Liv Cook and Jermaine Genius here. Something that we saw yesterday, Robert Pires and, of course, his opponent, Steve McManaman, not do as well. So it's good to see some proactive defending on showcase here.
Rashford's taking himself wide here. Here's Wan-Bissaka and now McTominay. Don't forget, he will go straight to penalties if it's 0-0 at the end. Mata with the shot that would have been spectacular had that gone in. And now Jermaine can try and come the other way. Suarez being harassed by Matic, but he's got the ball to Messi and then towards Antoine Griezmann and Harry Maguire with Liv Cook at the controls. Gets it back to David De Gea, and Liv can build again. There's McTominay, and that's a nice ball to Wan-Bissaka, and then on to Bruno Fernandes. Marcus Rashford's waiting in the middle, and safe hands from Marc-Andre ter Stegen, the Barcelona goalkeeper.
Yeah, just asking a bit too much of Rashford there. I think a bit too close to ter Stegen, but Interesting to see Juan Mata being favoured over the likes of Paul Pogba here for Liv. It's surprising for me when you consider this stat-balanced mode. What that means is uniform ratings across the board to try and make it as fair as possible. The advantages you have with a player like Paul Pogba, he retains his stats in both his height and his strength. So maybe Juan Mata, not the right choice for Liv. Might try and bring him on maybe in the second half.
What I would say here, though, Harry, is that Jermaine started well, but there's been a shift in momentum, hasn't there? And a shift in dominance. Liv Cook controlling the game at the moment and looking slightly the more comfortable of the two of them. Although, as I say that, here's a chance for Jermaine to attack with Messi. And that Luke Shaw was back there to win it for Liv and Manchester United. Now Mason Greenwood. Bruno Fernandes. And Wan-Bissaka manages to get the cross in. Bruno Fernandes with a shot, and that's just wide.
Well, fun first half. The question for me is now the substitutes. When do we turn to the bench for both of these players? The likes of Dembele we saw for Griezmann yesterday made the difference for Barcelona. Looks like Dan James has come on. And there is Paul Pogba for Liv. So some good substitutions at half-time.
Vital interception there from Clement Longley. Here's Messi. And now Griezmann. Jermaine's going to be looking at this stage to get back into the kind of fluent rhythm that we saw really early in the first half. We haven't seen too much of that silky football from JJ in Barcelona since then. Here is Dan James, who Harry's just mentioned has been put on as a substitute by Liv Cook at half-time, and Gerard Piqué back there defending for JJ in Barcelona.
Something that Genius is really struggling with at the moment, trying to get past that tall figure of Nemanja Matic, and now on the other side, Paul Pogba is going to be doing that exact same job, so it's going to be tricky.
There's Rashford, needs to get players in the box. Luke Shaw. And then the cross in towards Dan James, and it works its way through, and there's a goal. And Liv Cook has scored, and Juan Mata, who she decided to leave on despite the fact that Paul Pogba came on at half-time, has scored the first goal of the game. It was nicely worked, and Mata from that kind of range really couldn't miss. Manchester United lead Barcelona, and Liv Cook leads Jermaine Genius 1-0.
Well, we were praising the proactive defending and lots of players coming towards the ball. You'll see here from the replay, that's completely the opposite of what's happened here. No one going to attack the ball over the top. It's allowed to bounce in the penalty area, and Juan Mata lurking, arriving late, is the beneficiary. It was a pretty tame cross in the end. Didn't really look to be going into a dangerous area until that bounce happened, until none of the defence went to go and attack it. And it's Liv with the advantage now. And it's all on Jermaine Genius. Who does he turn to maybe on the bench, or what can he conjure up for the rest of this second half?
So the pressure now on my partner to come up with the goods. Otherwise, it could be a little bit of banter retribution down the line, the kind of stuff that Steve McManaman's got to face. Here's Sergi Roberto with the cross. That's gone all the way through. That was a brilliant clearance by Wan-Bissaka. That's exactly what you'd expect to see from a freestyler. Here's Griezmann with a chance. Jermaine Genius looking for the equaliser. Manchester United and Liv Cook battling hard, though. Sergio Busquets. Messi. Shot, and straight at the goalkeeper, David De Gea. Well, it was almost the perfect response from JJ, wasn't it?
Almost. Some real improvised defending there from Liv. Needs to keep up that dogged mentality at the back and make sure that she doesn't concede in the next 10 or so in-game minutes, just to steady the ship here a little bit and make sure that she can really defend the last 20 or so in-game minutes with that 1-0 lead.
There's Rashford trying to move away from Busquets, and now Dan James with a chance, and that's an important save by Ter Stegen. You feel if Liv gets a second goal at this stage, it would be a long, long way back for Jermaine. And it's worth mentioning as well that apart from Antoine Griezmann, Liv is the only player to score a goal within the 90 minutes of gameplay. So she's done really well there to actually get that shot from Mata into the back of the net, because so many people have found it so hard to do.
Well, it's a bit of a gift, wasn't it, from Jermaine? She'll be thanking him.
Here's Shaw with a volley, and now there's all kinds of space here for Griezmann. And the Barcelona players are trying to get forward. JJ's had to wait. Now he's got Rakitic on the run. Now this is a big moment for Jermaine Genius. Luke Shaw's got across there, who is significantly quicker in real life, and that turned out to be the case on PES as well.
Yeah, good defending, bringing Shaw across. And he's on the attack here as well. Needs to be careful though, Liv. She doesn't want to commit too many people forward. She's going for that long ball again, maybe trying to exploit the fact that Jermaine isn't willing to attack the ball when the ball is in the air. And, well, he's giving it away here as well.
Here's the chance. It's Bruno Fernandes running through. He can probably seal it. Oh, he smashed it in. That's a brilliant finish. What a mistake from Jermaine Genius. Barcelona giving the ball away. Bruno Fernandes running onto it. And that's a super shot, a super finish by Liv Cook. And Barcelona are 2 up. Manchester United are 2 up.
Well, I know that one's going to make you laugh, but it's another gift from Jermaine Genius. Both goals really coming from defensive mistakes. And as a Tottenham fan myself, it breaks my heart to see it. But credit to Liv Cook, she's really made the most of it. Bruno Fernandes, all he had to do was get it on target, really. Ter Stegen in no man's land, and that's almost taken the net off.
That was a brilliant finish. Absolutely sensational. And she's done really well, Liv, hasn't she? Because she had to weather that early storm when Jermaine came out of the traps and went on the attack early. But there was a real shift in momentum. Just as Liv started to settle down, she became the dominant player. And Jermaine hasn't really had an answer to that since then. And you think when you look at the balance of the game, it does reflect the score. And it's going to need a big comeback now for JJ. He's got to score quickly. Messi onto Griezmann. Here's the chance. That's a good save. Can Suarez get there? No, he can't. And then it loops onto the top of the net. 2 chances there for JJ to get a goal back for Barcelona.
Yeah, the second more of a half chance, really, with the defender getting there first. And it looks like it's actually going to be a goal kick. I'm not sure which way the deflection went, but the first was really well worked. Griezmann usually produces the goods from that kind of area, and then it would have led to a nervy last 15 or so in-game minutes, but, well, he has to throw the kitchen sink at this now, does Jermaine?
Here he goes with Suarez, and now Griezmann. They've got to get bodies forward here. Messi's up there, so is Suarez. There's an option out there on the other side. But Matic has won it back again, and now Bruno Fernandes, and they've been good on the counter-attack in this half, Manchester United. Busquets is the last man, and he's waiting for the goalkeeper. Oh, he's lost it! What's he done there? What on earth was JJ doing? Marcus Rashford 3-0, and 2 terrible errors in the second half by JJ has gifted goals to Liv. He can't believe it. I can't believe it. JJ can't believe it. 3-0 to Liv Cook, 3-0 to Manchester United.
Well, it must be Liv's birthday soon, because Jermaine is just handing out gifts left and right. This one, it's just, he dwelled on it, didn't he? Pure hesitation, didn't queue up a clearance with Ter Stegen, and that's the risk that you run, passing it so close to him. I mean, even if he puts his foot through it, it might just ricochet back off Rashford anyway. It's a dangerous situation. And, well, I think this one's now in the books.
Well, it is, isn't it? 3-0. It's too far back now for Jermaine in what time remains. And well done to Liv Cook, who's played this game fantastically. When the chances have come, she's been able to take them. And she said when we spoke to her before the match that she'd had some tips on how to shoot. And that really has paid off for her in this game, because when she's been around the penalty area, the Manchester United team that she's controlling have scored the goal.
Yeah, and some signs of frustration coming out here for Jermaine. You can tell he's just lost his head here a little bit. That's a naughty one. No attempt to play the ball. And Liv has done really, really well, it has to be said. We questioned maybe her mental fortitude when it was only 1-0. We have to remember, of course, in the 2016 World Football Freestyle Championship, she broke her foot in the final and then obviously came back the next year to win the world title. So we can't really question her mentality too much. That's probably one of the toughest things to come back from. And, well, her mentality is on point here in the Solidarity Challenge as well.
Yeah, this has been the most impressive display we've seen outside of Antoine Griezmann. So maybe we have a challenger to the man who's been dubbed the favourite to win the competition, the Barcelona player Antoine Griezmann. Maybe Liv Cook is the kind of challenge that he's going to need somewhere down the line. Piqué gets across there to make the challenge on Dan James, but then gives the ball away. JJ's given it straight to Matic over there. And Sergi Roberto with it back now for Barcelona. Dying moments of this one. Oh, they've given it away again. Marcus Rashford in for another one, and this time it's saved by Ter Stegen. I thought he'd gone and done it again there, JJ. Well, there's the full-time whistle. Mata, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. But the last two goals, 73 and 81, were down directly to errors. JJ giving the ball away in key areas, and Liv Cook and Manchester United punished him, Harry.
Yep, most certainly. It was just too many defensive mistakes from Jermaine, and Liv Cook will advance.
Well, Liv, Jermaine, I've got to start with the winner. You did say before the match that you had some tips on how to shoot, how to finish, and whenever those chances came, you were absolutely deadly.
What can I say? Expect nothing less. I am a winner. It's just what I do. Unlucky JJ. Someone has to lose. It's not me.
You know what? She's not that good. I don't know. For some reason, my team just didn't turn up. They did not turn up. Messi didn't want to know.
Yeah.
Things just weren't happening. Do you know what I mean? It was a bad day at the office. That's all I can put it down to.
So, as one of the finest analysts of the beautiful game that I know, talk me through the second goal and the third goal, especially the second goal, the third goal, where your goalkeeper and your centre back are trying to play 1-2s on the edge on your goal line, really.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think that's the manager's fault. You know, he realised that he had Barcelona at his fingertips and decided to try and overplay the tiki-taka style of play that Barcelona like to play. Sometimes you need to realise it's not going that well for you. You just got to clear your lines. And, overconfidence, sloppiness all round. Keeper's done me and he stuck one in the back of the net. But, yeah, all the goals weren't great, to be fair. You know, first goal, sloppy cross. Gerald Piqué going walkabouts, not picking up his man. So
can't rely on
him. It's a tough game for me to deal with. It's a tough time for me to deal with.
You started so well. That little move at the start was brilliant. I thought, here we go. He's given it the big one before he starts, and he's going to live up to it. But it fizzled out from there.
You know what? I don't know whether it was just like when they didn't go in, the confidence kind of went down a little bit. I put one wide. David De Gea makes a couple of good saves from Griezmann, and I'm thinking it's just not going to be my day. You know, this time this happens in football. So it happens. You know, someone puts on a pair of glittery trousers, and they get the victory. What can I say?
So, Liv, to sum up what JJ said, it had nothing to do with your ability or performance. It was all down to one or two mistakes from his side. And if you played this game 10 times, he'd win 9 of them.
Listen, it's a game of two sides. He's looking at it thinking his players weren't good enough. I'm looking at it thinking I saw the opportunity. He was faffing around on his line. Silly play. And I pressed. Got the goal. What more do you want? A goal's a goal at the end of the day. A win's a win. Whether it's a pretty goal, a top corner, or slotted in, I will take it as long as I win.
So you're through. You're through as well. You've got to play again. You've got another match now. You're into the next round.
Now I need to do it again.
This is where the panic's going to start setting in now.
No, to be fair, I did panic in that game. At the start, you were good.
I know. I don't know what happened to me.
I was thinking, this is it. He's better than me. He's not just cocky in the pre-match. And then I've gone in dead cocky, and I'm going to get my ass whooped. But what can I say? I just needed to warm up. Might do some stretch for the next one. I think that's what it is.
I've got to say, Jay, as well, if Griezmann scores or it breaks to Suarez after the save at 2-0 and you get it back to 2-1 at that stage, you're right back in it. But there was a big save at that stage from David De Gea and Liv.
It was a big moment because it was straight off the kickoff as well. And I went straight through, cut them open, slotted it into Griezmann in his little slot that he likes to get into. De Gea just makes a great save. You saw on his face afterwards, De Gea. The celebrations, he knew it was a big moment, and it was a big moment. I think I would have come back had I scored that, but wasn't to be, Fletch. Wasn't to be.
So now Liv will go away and get a thumb massage or whatever you do at times like this to make sure you're ready for the next round. And JJ, your weekend is free, my friend.
Well, that is it, mate. I'll get back on this and practice in case I have another round. You know, you never know.
I love it. I love it. You were both absolutely brilliant. Liv, we'll see you again. JJ, thanks for doing it. Really enjoyed it. Brilliant. We will discuss it. We will discuss it further at a different stage.
Darren, being your friend is not helping anybody in this tournament at the Solidarity Challenge. I think anybody who is friendly with you should just maybe try and get a couple of games practice in. It's not going their way, is it, Darren? It was unfortunate for Jermaine there.
No, he did okay. He had the same problem as Maka, though, didn't he? He could never get himself in the position to score the goal. I still wonder what would have happened at 2-0 if Griezmann scores or Suarez gets the follow-up. He started so well. I thought, hang on a second. For the first few minutes, he was running the show, pinging it around in midfield, really confident, nice and slick, nice and inventive, seemed to know what he was doing. And then there was a shift in momentum. But I was so impressed by Liv. She did tell us before the game that the advice she'd had was how to shoot. And I think that's the key thing. You can dribble your way through and get yourself into the position, but if you blaze it over the bar at that stage, you've got no chance. But whenever the chances came, Liv was absolutely clinical. Now, I know that JJ helped to no end by virtually setting her up, but you've still got to score from there. And it did cross my mind that the goal we saw Rashford score from about a yard out, Maka still would have got that over the bar from there. So full credit to Liv for the win. Commiserations to JJ, but brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
Has to be said though, Harry, Liv strung together a couple of good moves, didn't she herself? I know we're saying that JJ definitely did help her out with a couple of gifts there, but a couple of good moments of PES from Liv.
Yes, yeah, and it shouldn't really come as a surprise considering, as I said last week, she's been practicing, she's been plugging in the PS4, she's been, just having a few games, and also has been getting that advice from some of the top level players. She's taking this seriously. She wants to win the Solidarity Challenge, and we can see that in the result right there, and it's a pretty convincing one as well.
And let's not forget, a key part of JJ's game when he played at the very top level were assists. And he got 2 in that game, didn't he? Just the wrong way round.
Oh, God, that's tough for JJ, but plenty more action to come here.
For the iceberg, I'm sure.
Plenty more to come here at the Solidarity Challenge. And just to remind you guys why we are doing it, it is to donate to WHO's COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. You can do that at www.solidaritychallenge.org. All donations are sent directly to the organisation. But next, we have 2 rather big names coming up. It's going to be Giorgio Chiellini taking on Yaya Toure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Solidarity Challenge. We've already had some cracking action in our first game of the day with Jermaine Genius against Liv Cook. Darren, I don't know if you had much of a chance to chat to Jermaine after that one. Is he still reeling?
Well, he's difficult to get hold of at the moment, which he was easy to get hold of before the match, but that's becoming more and more difficult. So that might tell you what he's feeling. Yeah, he's still reeling. He will be reeling for a while. He's a perfectionist, is our JJ, so he won't be very happy with that at all.
Liv will be happy with her performance, though, Harry. She looked really good in that game.
Yeah, she did. And you can tell some of the practice that she's been putting in has really shone through. And hopefully we get to see her advance into the later rounds of the tournament and see what she's really made of.
Yes, well, of course, the Solidarity Challenge, which is still ongoing. We are still here for a good few more games today. The reason we are doing this is, of course, for the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund by the WHO. If you do want to donate, it is www.solidaritychallenge.org. And you can do that at any point during the show and anytime you would like to try and help the support against this pandemic. Now, let's think about the game coming up, though. We do have Giorgio Chiellini, against Yaya Toure. So 2 big names in football. Which way is this one going to go then? Because I don't know how experienced both these 2 guys are, Darren, but I mean, both absolute titans on the pitch in their day, especially. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is, these are 2 players who played against each other in, European competition at the very, very highest level, probably played each other internationally too. You're talking about a talismanic figure from Juventus in Giorgio Chiellini, and you're talking about one of the all-time greats at Manchester City with Yaya Toure, who scored goals to win trophies in big moments and has been a key player in so many of those, what will go down as historic moments for that football club. So 2 absolute titans, as you say, the best way to describe it. And these are going to be 2 very prideful individuals who will not want to lose.
So, I mean, looking at Giorgio Chiellini, Harry, I'm absolutely presuming he's going to use Juventus. I think that would really throw a cat amongst the pigeons if he didn't. And I'm going to presume that Yaya is probably going to use his former team Barcelona as well. So interested to see those two matching up. Both those two teams have really been synonymous with every single matchup. Would you agree with those two, the best that they could possibly be using in this stat balance version of PES?
There are some other options in there, the likes of AS Monaco, who in the professional level of PES has been used numerous times. But I think for this kind of tournament, you want to try and use the teams that you're familiar with. You know how they like to play, and with a game like PES, similar play styles that you try and use reflect the real world football can often pay off. So hopefully we'll see Chiellini and Toure here exhibit that on show. I'm actually kind of interested to see who Chiellini plays along his back line if he does pick Juventus, because there are some decent defenders in the back line. So he might have to opt to a five at the back just to fit them all in here, I think.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's going to start himself. But before we do get into the game, Darren is going to chat to the players.
How are you, fellas?
How are you? Darren, how are you?
Yes, we're very good, thank you. So you two must have played against each other properly. Today you play each other electronically. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I don't know how Giorgio feeling, but me, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to attack it.
Against Yaya is better play electronic because the man with the body is too strong for me. I like to use
Giorgio.
But not physically against him.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I love the fact you've got the shirt on. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. No, but me now, I'm not have a club. I just have a chance. This shirt. Giorgio was Juventus already. Giorgio, no, it's good. It's gonna be fun.
So you're both looking forward to this.
Yeah, definitely interesting to get it with. And Giorgio is a great defender. I know it's gonna be difficult, but I don't know if I play with the five striker, it's gonna be difficult because it's gonna counterattack me. And I'm not used too much to this game. But let's try to attack. We're gonna get our chance in. Let's do this.
Also in the game, I'm a good defender. My game is defense before, and then sometimes we have Cristiano to do some score.
Of course, that's good.
Fantastic, gentlemen. We wish you well. We will speak after. May the best man win.
Let's do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we really are rolling out two of the big hitters in this one. Juventus, represented by Giorgio Chiellini, and Arsenal, represented by Yaya Toure. Harry, really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. Need to see who Chiellini's playing at the back again. It's something I raised before the game. Has he played himself? I'm sure he would have. He was backing himself pre-game, and I think Yaya has a lot ahead of him here. He's going to be a tricky opponent to defeat if he's such a tenacious defender on the virtual pitch, just as he is in the real one.
Well, let's have a look how this works then. Here's Saka for Arsenal, given away to Bentancur, and now Douglas Costa. It'll be interesting early on here to see which of the two players is the most comfortable at the game. Douglas Costa with a little run there for Juventus, and then the header that came in from Higuain that was saved by Bernd Leno. So the first attack and the first chance of the game falls to Giorgio Chiellini.
Yeah, don't be surprised to see Costa and Ronaldo down both flanks. Really set the tempo here for Juventus. It's almost the focal point of their attacks. They can, of course, go down the middle with Higuain, but the two wingers favoured by PES favourites and fans alike.
Here's the first real chance. It's Douglas Costa in for Juventus, and he tees up Ronaldo, and it's 1-0. Well, Giorgio Chiellini did tell us in the interview before the match that he will defend and then rely on Ronaldo, just like they do at club level, and that's exactly how it worked there. Wonderfully worked goal and a tap-in into an open net at the end of it all for Cristiano Ronaldo, and Giorgio Chiellini leads Yaya Toure 1-0.
I tell you what, Darren, that's some fantastic vision to see the pass on to Cristiano Ronaldo. I honestly thought he might just go for goal straight away, but the pass was on. The angle just too much to close for the Arsenal keeper, and Chiellini He's off to a scoring start here. Cristiano Ronaldo in the opening, 15 or so in-game minutes. Could be a long game here for Yaya if he's not careful.
Yeah, I think it was timed at 11 in-game minutes, that, for Cristiano Ronaldo, for Giorgio Chiellini. So it's a quick start. It's the perfect start. And it's a man who's represented Juventus for so long and with such distinction, who is representing the club in the tournament. The Solidarity Challenge. Oh, it's gone against it again. It's Higuain. It's 2-0. And it's one of the quickest starts we've seen made by anybody. And Giorgio Chiellini has made the perfect start. The ball was given away. And in the blink of an eye, it seemed, it was slipped through by Ronaldo to Higuain. And what a finish that is, beyond Leno and into the corner. 2-0.
Well, countless times we've seen Yaya Toure boss the midfield. This time he's giving it away in his own half. That just cannot happen if you want to try and keep a clean sheet, or at least stop the goals going in for the opposition. This time it's Higuain the benefactor. And, well, Yaya Toure so far has looked fairly shaky, I won't lie. It's not been the commanding performance in the midfield that we would have hoped to have seen from a man of his stature in this type of competition.
Yeah, 2 goals inside the opening 15 minutes for Giorgio Chiellini, and there still hasn't been a significant Arsenal attack yet, so we still don't know whether Chiellini's actually in the team at the other end. Here's another chance. It's Leno with the save to deny a 3rd goal for Giorgio Chiellini. It could almost have been all over bar the shouting had that gone in.
Certainly counter-attack on here, though, for Yaya, so maybe a chance to remind Giorgio that he is in a match here.
Here's Pepe, and then Hector Bellerin. I think I can actually see Giorgio Chiellini in the middle, so I think he is playing. I think we can confirm that he has played himself in the match, even though he's not been anywhere near the ball as yet, because Arsenal haven't had any kind of movement inside the box. We'll find out now whether that's gone against Arsenal, and it's going to be a free kick. It's the offside decision against Aubameyang, so it's a free kick to Giorgio Chiellini.
It's quite interesting when we think about team lineups and team selections. We often question the attacking weapons and options that PES players have. For me, it's interesting to see whether it would be Bonucci or De Ligt at the back pairing Chiellini. He's gone for the former, and well, so far he hasn't really had anything to worry about.
Higuain with a shot on the turn, and that was deflected behind for the corner. That was pretty close to another Juventus goal.
Yeah, Yaya is... Well, he's not stepping up enough here at the back. It's just allowing too much time for Giorgio to fashion these types of chances, and the pressure piles on. This is not the performance that Yaya would have wanted. And so far, Chiellini's making the most of it.
So Bentancur with the Juventus corner, which is floated in there and all the way. Well, it wasn't cleared very well. Cuadrado fires it back in. There was a decent block in there for Arsenal. And now a potential chance to counter-attack with Nicola Pepe. He's only really got one up there with him. And the tackle made at the back there by Juventus. Here's Bentancur. I think we've worked out at this stage of the first half exactly what Giorgio does in his spare time. He's pretty handy at this game, isn't he?
He's not too bad, actually. I'm very surprised. Whether or not he just knows the insides and outs of the Juventus strengths and weaknesses, I'm not sure that's the case. I think you're right. I think he's put some hours into this, and we might have just found out his hobby there without even asking him.
Yep. Here's Alex Sandro, and Hector Bellerin goes across for Arsenal, and I think the free kick is going to be given here. One thing I've just noticed, I think De Ligt might now be alongside Bonucci, so there is a theory that Chiellini might just have taken himself off within the game, Harry, which is a bit disappointing.
It is very disappointing to see. We always want to see that the virtual players step up with, well, to represent their real-world counterparts who are controlling them. Hopefully that's not the case. We'll try and get confirmation on that as soon as we can.
Yeah, so free kick to Juventus, which is sent in towards Matuidi, who came charging in with a header. And that was so close to number 3. Brilliant free kick, in it went. And Matuidi had a real run on that and just guided it wide.
Fellow Solidarity Challenge competitor Blaise Matuidi there, almost helping out Juventus teammate, real world Giorgio Chiellini. It's getting a bit confusing, isn't it, Darren? Trying to differentiate the virtual players from the real world ones. It's making my brain a bit fuzzy.
It's the beauty of the Solidarity Challenge, the fact that we are privileged to see some of the superstars of the game playing here and playing themselves on the pitch as well, which is interesting too. The big test at the minute for Yaya Toure is to get through to half-time at 2-0, and then he can make some changes potentially and try and change things in the second half. As it stands, Wojciech Szczesny, the Juventus goalkeeper, hasn't had a save to make in the first half, and he won't have one there because Alex Sandro has intercepted that pass.
It's a bit of a footballing cliche, isn't it? But it certainly applies in this scenario. You're just trying to make it to half-time. You're begging for the half-time whistle if you're Yaya, and you're right. I'm not sure if there's anything tactically that Yaya Toure can do at the moment to try and get his Arsenal team over the line. Just hasn't put up a good enough fight in midfield, hasn't been willing to recycle possession and allow his players to push further up the pitch, and that's something that Chiellini has been able to exploit. And, well, doesn't look like he's actually playing himself there, Chiellini. Wonder if that's a bit tactical, or maybe he'll substitute himself on later on. We'll see.
But I think he's replaced himself with De Ligt at 2-0, so we'll try and work that out. Both goals scored inside 15 minutes of actual game time for Giorgio Chiellini. First Ronaldo and then Higuain. Here's Saka for Arsenal and Yaya Toure. And Aaron Ramsey against his old club, there to make the tackle. Here's Higuain, and now Ramsey. And Douglas Costa on the move here for Juventus. And the black and white shirts are arriving in the middle. There's the cross and there's the header, and that's a brilliant save. It was Higuain's header, and it was clawed away by Bernd Leno. He's pretty good, isn't he, getting the crosses in and making sure he timed. A half-time whistle, 2-0 to Juventus. Ronaldo and Higuain, and so far so good for Giorgio Chiellini. There is work here for Yaya Toure to do, Harry. Blaise Matuidi in there to break things up and win it back for Juventus. On by Higuain to Douglas Costa, who then plays it back towards Gonzalo Higuain, and Shkodran Mustafi was back there for Arsenal to fizz one into the feet of Bernd Leno, who's made a couple of important saves in the match. Otherwise, it might well have been all over already. Yaya Toure knows that he's got to score the next goal in the match, but as a player that scored so many big goals throughout his career, he knows that he's more than capable of doing that.
Absolutely, and if he's able to come back in this, he'll be no doubt starting Bernd Leno in goal for Arsenal for the rest of the competition, because you're right, kept him in this one.
Here's Ronaldo. There's an important tackle there by Hector Bellerin. Here's Ramsey, and Aubameyang will get back there and win it for Arsenal.
And I'm just wondering whether or not Giorgio might just go poking around the settings in a little bit and maybe see if he didn't start himself, whether or not he can bring the virtual version of himself into the fold and onto the pitch, because, well, at 2-0 at the moment, Yaya hasn't really put anything of conviction together.
There's Aubameyang, and now Pepe. Maybe he can now. Hector Bellerin puts the cross in, but that's headed away by Ramsey. Wasn't an accurate enough cross there from Yaya Toure. Now Juventus are flooding forward here through midfield with Aaron Ramsey, and he's got options left and options right, but he might go himself. Can he finish this off? It's not.
No.
He passed it to an Arsenal player. All he had to do was shoot and finish, Harry.
He had options left and right. Cristiano Ronaldo with his arm up for half the length of the pitch, but he went with Ramsey. If he takes the strike on, maybe, well, almost certainly it's 3-0, but maybe giving Yaya Toure a bit of a lifeline in this match.
Well, you can imagine how Giorgio's going to feel now if Yaya gets a couple of quick goals, because that should have been game over. As it is, it remains 2-0, and here's Aubameyang coming forward for Yaya and Arsenal. The problem he had there, though, you could see that there just weren't enough Arsenal players in the Juventus box. There were more defenders than attackers, which was a big problem there for Yaya. Here's Ronaldo, and that's an important tackle by Mustafi at the back for Arsenal.
Again, you're right in saying there's just not enough runners at the moment in red shirts out there, and Yaya is just waiting for a bit of support when he holds the ball up, and that time it was the on-rushing Pepe, and this one will be brought back, I think, for a yellow card for an Arsenal man. Bit of frustration creeping in, and time is ticking down. Time is running out here for Yaya to get himself a goal and give himself a bit of a lifeline. And so far, it's been a frustrating day at the office, the virtual office, if you will, for Yaya Toure. And it looks like Chiellini is well and truly on his way to the next round at the moment.
Here's a Matuidi onto Ronaldo. And it might be another chance here. Ronaldo's shot, which is saved, and luckily for Yaya Toure. Here's Aubameyang. And this time there are one or two more red and white shirts up there with him, but Ramsey was there to win it back, and now Douglas Costa. And it's a lovely ball weighted through for Higuain, who's in for number 3, and he hits the post. Well, that would have made sure.
It certainly would have. He had Cristiano in support as well, did Chiellini. And you think back to the first goal where he found a tremendous pass, whether or not he meant it, to find the on-rushing Cristiano Ronaldo. It was a similar situation there. In fact, the pass was a bit more obvious. So whether he was just going for glory at 2-0 with Higuain, we'll never know. But yeah, it's a real chance for 3-0.
In the meantime, here's Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. Yaya Toure knows he's got to score, and he's got to score quickly.
That's something that we've seen throughout the Solidarity Challenge. These sportsmen and women just struggling to get to grips with the power bar. It can be quite sensitive to find that sweet spot in PES, and well, we've seen another example of it there.
There's Matuidi. I think we certainly need to ask Giorgio after the match why he didn't play himself. Matuidi's in for the... Oh, well, it should have been the clincher, shouldn't it? Should have been the clincher. And yet again, Giorgio Chiellini fails from close range. It's a good job he's got this 2-0 lead.
It really is. It could have been 4 or 5. Maybe that's another question to be asking him after the match. But either way, it's a tremendous result.
Well, he's through. 15 minutes. Both goals have been scored by then. Ronaldo and Higuain. And there were other opportunities to run up the score. But as it is, Giorgio Chiellini beats Yaya Toure 2-0. Giorgio, you have a big smile on your face. A 2-0 win, 2 very early goals, and you are through. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a fantastic start. And then I have to defend, and defend is my work.
Yes, we have to ask you the question, though. You didn't pick yourself. You didn't play. You didn't play yourself within the game. Why was that? It was De Ligt and Bonucci.
Yeah, because it's important, not Miguel or Dennis. And instead, tonight, I have to say, yo, Chiellini! I am the coach.
Always great.
So, Yaya, what went wrong?
Well, I think, to be honest, Giorgio was better than me. Defensively, was good. And offensively as well, he get opportunity and he just scored it. Maybe the game should finish maybe 5 or maybe 4 because he have more chance. I even shot one time and target. He didn't let me. Giorgio, let me score 1 goal, Giorgio. Even 1 shot and the target, I don't have it. No, but it's good. Giorgio deserves it. He played very well. It's better, and that's good.
And Giorgio, for you, you had 2 chances in the game where you were so close to the goal, and then instead of shooting, you passed, and it could have been more.
Yeah. When you have a teammate's positioning better than you, you have to pass to him, and it's easy to score. In the computer also, but I remember Yaya with Barcelona when they create many action in this way. They arrive near the goal, and also they would like to enter on the goal with the ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because Barcelona, the type of the way they play, the manager always asks the player to give the ball to the one who is more in good position, and that's why sometimes in the real game, we just passing until we get to the end. Even to the goal, they want to go with the pass to the goal. And
I remember that. And we said, it seems PlayStation, it seems PlayStation.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. No, but it's good. Fantastic.
Well, it's been absolutely brilliant having both of you play today. Giorgio, congratulations. You are through. Yaya, commiserations. But thank you for taking part, and we wish you both well. Thank you.
What a game between Giorgio Chiellini and Yaya Toure there. Giorgio Chiellini looking very, very good. And just something I picked up on in the interview, absolute genius from him, not playing himself so he can blame his other teammates in real life if anything goes wrong. He is completely faultless on the actual pitch. Of course, the controller is in his hands though, Darren, but at the same time, a very, very good performance from him.
Yeah, he also said that he didn't want to be blaming himself all night, that it was Chiellini's fault if things went wrong. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. But if he's going to win this, if he's going to win the Solidarity Challenge, he's got to be a little bit more decisive in front of goal, because he got the 2 goals to go 2 up inside 15 actual game time minutes. And then the chances that he missed later, you feel that if he plays Antoine Griezmann or someone who's going to score plenty of goals, he might just have to be a little bit more clinical when the chances come. But I mean, that would be the only thing you'd say, because he was the better player all the way through, wasn't he? And Yaya never really had too many chances to try and test Giorgio defensively at the other end.
Yeah, Yaya never really got going there, did he, Harry? It just seemed as if he couldn't create anything, and Giorgio was just above and beyond in that case.
Yeah, well, this is it. We spoke about it on the commentary. Yaya just didn't quite have the coordination to play that one extra pass, and if nothing was on that seemed viable, to go back and recycle possession, which is something that admittedly is tricky to do in games like PES and video games, especially if you are new to them. It can be quite tricky to get a hold of. But I will say, disappointed Chiellini didn't play himself up front. That's what I would have done. Stick yourself up top. I don't care if you're a defender. This is for glory. You want to get goals for yourself. So a little bit disappointed there myself.
I'll tell you what, Harry, we did see the pass of the competition, though, didn't we, for the first goal? The ball to Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, I don't know whether he meant it or not, but I mean, that was as good a pass as you're going to see in the
I feel like he might have pressed the wrong button, you know, but either way, it was a great find, and he found the shoot button in the end, so fair enough.
Yeah, well played to Giorgio Chiellini. He will march on. To remind you guys, though, the Solidarity Challenge is, of course, to support the WHO in their fight against the COVID-19 virus. The Solidarity Response Fund is what you can donate to at www.solidaritychallenge.org. All donations go towards fighting the virus. Right, next, we do have two players. Former Manchester United player on one side of things against the current one. It's going to be Scott McTominay against Louis Saha. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Solidarity Challenge. We've already seen nearly every single one of the round one games. We've got one final one to go, though. It is going to be Scott McTominay against Louis Saha, of course, a former Man United player going up against the new breed of Man United player, obviously, in Scott McTominay and Louis Saha. Interested again to this one, Darren. We were just discussing it there. We're presuming they're both going to use Manchester United, aren't they? I mean, it'd be rude for them not to. Scott McTominay definitely has to.
Yeah. I think if Scott McTominay doesn't choose Manchester United, that's going to be the biggest story of the whole Solidarity Challenge. So he certainly has. I'm expecting Louis Saha to as well. So of course we get this scenario that we spoke about during Antoine Griezmann's game, that we could get McTominay tackled by McTominay whilst being controlled by McTominay. So Harry and I can have some fun with that potentially in the commentary.
Absolutely. And we've already seen Scott McTominay play PES before, Harry, ourselves at least anyway. And I think he lost in the first round of the challenge that we commentated over, didn't he? So, but he does have experience at least, so that's going to give him an edge, you would think.
Well, this is it. He's one of the PES ambassadors, I'm pretty sure, for Manchester United. He was there to announce the club's partnership with the game. So, yeah, you'd like to think, as well as the fact he's played in these types of competitions before, just for a bit of fun. But, you know, the fact he has that experience behind him, he'll know what to expect. Whereas Louis Saha, we don't really know how much experience he has under his belt. So this could be his first time plugging in a PS4. He could be a player who's played PES for 10 years. We never know. So it could be an interesting game.
Listen, Harry, the good news is we've not had a 20-minute update or a 1 hour and 4-minute update, so we presume that he's plugged in earlier than now, so we should be okay.
You've jinxed us there, Darren. I'm touching wood. I'm touching wood. Well, before we do get into the game, though, Darren's going to chat to the players.
Okay, so Scott, Louis, how much are you looking forward to this one? It's all Manchester United affair, current Manchester United against ex-Manchester United. Are you looking forward to it? Are you ready?
Of course, ready. I think Scott is one of the favorites of the tournament, and I'm the underdog, but I still have my say. I think I will try my best, just try to upset him, and who knows, as football is is so magic. You know, sometimes the pressure is on and stuff like this, but it's always all about fun. I just don't want to be humiliated, so I'm gonna try to upset him. Really.
Scott, I'm told that you've got experience. I'm told that you've got experience, that you've played in a tournament similar to this in the past. So that might just give you an edge, and that might be why Louis is suggesting that you're one of the favourites here.
Yeah, obviously he can play mind games, and he can go that route of trying to get in my head and different things like that. And for me, it's just I've got to concentrate on what I do with my own controller. I can't control what he does. So for me, it's going to be intense, and obviously I'm very much looking forward to it as well, and may the best man win, and hopefully it'll be a very good game.
Yeah.
So far, Antoine Griezmann has set the bar 5-0 and looked like a complete pro. So I think whoever wins it has got to get past Antoine Griezmann. So that's got to be the target for everybody. So he's who everybody's aiming for at the moment.
Yeah, I heard that. My French colleague is on top. Was on top of another one, but I'm not sure the level of Julie, to be fair. So he doesn't play much. He's a bit like me. So I expect Scotty to play against Greasy, and hope to see me first to upset him, to train him, to make sure that he gets his skill up. You know?
And we'll be ready.
Yeah.
What's the tactics, Scott? What are the tactics?
I can't tell you no tactics. That's giving my game plan away. We'll just see once we get in this game. That'll be. Eldridge has set me up very well. That's all I'm going to say.
So you have your coach with you?
He's been on FaceTime this afternoon, so we've had a few little chit chat. He's sat me down and said what he expects from me, and hopefully I'll put it into practice.
Right, we wish you both all the best. Play well, and we'll speak after.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Right, so we're all set for this all Manchester United affair. So Scott McTominay is the home player against Louis Saha, who is the away player. And now Greenwood with the chance, and Greenwood over the bar. And he's disappointed with that. Here's at Lindelof, and now Greenwood. Mata, Rashford, and the volley over the bar. It's noticeable that Louis hasn't selected Scott McTominay in his team. It's gone right across the face of goal from Rashford. Had anybody been coming in at the far post, it would have been 1-0 to Louis Saha. Can Marcus Rashford finish this time? Oh, he's hit the post. He was teed up by Mason. Greenwood beat the goalkeeper. It comes back off the post. That's the closest either of them have come so far. If Louis Saha can create the chance and take it. Shaw with the ball in. There's the header. Oh, just wide. So close. I thought that was going to nestle in the back of the net.
Thought maybe this would have taken a deflection, but the referee's pointed for the goal kick. Just blasts it over. It's a rash shot from the man from the Manchester United youth setup.
Here's Dan James with a chance for Louis Saha, and he fires it high and he fires it wide. That's a goal kick. Here's Rashford. And then Maguire gets there just ahead of Greenwood. Well, he's got Mellor up first, the youth player, who was the surprise selection, and he's the first penalty taker here for Scott McTominay. And he scored. Has he scored? Has it gone in? It's not. It's hit the bar.
Off.
He's missed it. It's gone to... We saw one yesterday. They hit the bar and went over the line. This has hit the bar and come back out. Here's Mason Greenwood. Oh, and that's missed as well. He's missed the first two. Are we going to see one of the pre-tournament favourites go out here? Oh, he's missed it. He's dragged it wide. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That is just what Scott McTominay needed. So let's see whether Rashford can score for him. Oh, that's cheeky. That's calm. I remember him scoring a goal in Europe where he had ice running through his veins. So Louis Saha has a penalty in hand at the moment. Dan James against David De Gea. Oh, he's put that one wide as well, and we're back level again. What drama, Harry?
Saha just cannot seem to get them goalward at the moment. They just keep dragging wide of that left-hand post.
Here's Mata. Big penalty. Scores brilliantly, really easily. Scott McTominay ahead. He's come back from seemingly being out of the competition and he's now in control of the shootout. Bruno Fernandes. 2-1 Scott McTominay. Scores down the middle. So 2-2. Fifth penalty. And Scott McTominay, for Scott McTominay, big moment, all scores. No problem. He will have enjoyed that more than any Scott McTominay's through. Pogba and Saha have to score. Up steps Pogba. Oh, what a save by David De Gea. And from nowhere, in the shootout, Scott McTominay somehow has got himself through.
He's on me, 55% position. United play, my friend. No. I was on top. Look,
fellas,
55. I was on top.
Fellas, I've got to interrupt. Scott, you were out. The penalty shootout was drifting away and suddenly you came back from nowhere. What drama?
Yeah, that was an incredible penalty shootout, you know, but I was unfortunate throughout the game. I thought I hit the post, should have scored, had a few one-on-one, should have scored, slack finishing, too much time on the circle button. Need to relax with that, but hopefully next round I'll be ready. But no, he should have won. Credit where it's due. He should have been in the next round. But that's penalty shootouts for you.
Louis, you said that Scott was among the favourites when we spoke before the match, and you were so close to winning.
Yeah, I can say that I was like with maybe the best formation. So I managed to upset him. That was my plan, making sure that it doesn't get comfortable and then that I can feel like it was maybe a bit cheeky, so shaky, you know, it's like unsure. But I really think that he's got the organization. His skills gonna go up. I'm sure that he's gonna go to the final because he's still it was a good fun. I really liked it. But penalty, I think that the setting was right.
Depends. Yeah. It took me 2 penalties to realise how to take them, and then I thought, right, I'm in business now.
but it was good fun, really good. I enjoyed this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you. Last one to you, Scott. They do say that when you're going to win a tournament, you've got to grow into it. You've got to get better as you go. So you've got the opportunity now to build from this one.
Yeah, of course, that's what it's about. It's about building on performances. Obviously, I wasn't good enough in the first round, but we move on, and that's football.
We wish you well. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, fellas.
What a game between two ambassadors for Manchester United, if you like. Scott McTominay against Louis Saha. Scott just about taking it away there, though, Darren. We pegged him as one of the favourites, but he was a little bit shaky there, wasn't he?
Well, he was, but I think Louis did better than maybe Louis thought he was going to do, because he was giving Scott the big build-up, wasn't he, before, and saying that he's one of the favourites. And I think Louis does genuinely believe that Scott's going to grow into the competition. I thought it was really honest, though, when I spoke to him after, and he said that it took him 2 penalties to actually work out how to take them. So maybe he's not quite as experienced as we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, Harry, both players, though, they created their chances, it has to be said, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, we said it was for Saha, a real striker's game, really, really shaky defending. But when he was going forward, playing some really, really solid football, and shame he couldn't find the back of the net. For Scott, though, I think he said it perfectly in that post-game interview. Needs to calm down on the circle button, which, by the way, if you haven't figured out already, is the shoot button for his his configuration. So I think he knows that he doesn't need to put full sauce on every single shot now. So hopefully we can see maybe some more goals in the 90 minutes going forwards.
Well, that will be the end of the first round of games, and we will be going into the quarterfinals. But just to remind you guys why we are doing the Solidarity Challenge, it is indeed for the WHO COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. You can donate at www.solidaritychallenge.org. But as said, quarterfinals coming up after this. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Solidarity Challenge. My name is Chris Tunn. I am once again here with Harry Channon. We have the quarterfinals ready to start. There's been some fantastic games in that round of one there, Harry. What would your pick of the bunch be? There was a couple of good games, but a couple of them maybe a little bit more low scoring, going to penalties, etc. But what would your pick of the games be?
I think the surprise package out of everything was probably Robert Pires coming through against Steve McManaman, two absolute legends of the game. And you could tell neither of them really had a complete handle on what was going on the virtual pitch. But in the end, it was Pires with an absolute worldie of a penalty to send himself through into the next round.
Yeah, so we will obviously see his game against Scott McTominay at some point. But first and foremost, we are going to see Sir Mo Farah going up against Liv Cook. Let's have a look at the rest of the quarterfinal matches that are to be played. Now, looking at some of these, Harry, is there any of them that you're looking at and you're licking your lips for? I mean, there's a couple of really good competitors going up against each other. I think Griezmann with Tweedy will be probably quite interesting. Chiellini versus Kerr, both players seem well-versed in pairs. Any of the others that are really standing out?
I think Mo Farah versus Liv Cook is going to be a great one. Based on what we saw with Liv Cook against Jermaine Genius, she really came out and shocked him, and it's an interesting sort of dynamic that you have there, and that Mo Farah taking down Tommy Fleetwood hasn't scored yet in open play as Mo Farah. He'll be looking to set that right, and I feel like the chance is going to be primed against Liv Cook, who again has looked pretty darn strong in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, she looked really good in her round one game against Jermaine Genius. But just to remind you guys as to why we are doing the Solidarity Challenge, of course it is for the WHO COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund, helping the world try and defeat this horrible virus that has just went on for far too long at this point. www.solidaritychallenge.org is where you can donate. Every single penny goes to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. So donate if you can. But we're nearly ready to get in this game. It is going to be Mo Farah against Liv Cook, of course. And first and foremost, we are going to speak to the players. So, guys, you're about to go against each other in the quarterfinals here in the Solidarity Cup. Liv, I'll go to you firstly. You look pretty convincing against Jermaine Genius there. He wasn't too happy about it either. How did you feel after you went against Jermaine?
Jermaine was fuming. I think that third goal, he was ready to rage quit. He was ready to smash his television. But I can't work out if I'm actually good or if he was really bad. I'm not sure.
Well,
so this game will be my decider as to whether I'm good or not.
Well, we're going to find out. Sir Mo Farah, of course, yourself didn't manage to score any goals in your game up until penalties, but this time round, you're going up against somebody who's managed to score plenty of goals against JJ. How are you feeling going into this game?
To be honest, I'm pretty nervous. As you said, my previous match, it was 0-0. It came down to penalties, but I'll take that. And I've just heard she beat Jermaine easily, and made him pretty furious. So I'm a bit nerve-wracked.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Who are you playing as, Mo?
I'm playing as Arsenal.
As per normal. So, Liv, who are you going as?
Manchester United, once again.
Oh,
the Red Devils.
Okay, well... Yeah, it's just I had to ask you because Semo, you played as a Juve first time. A couple of Arsenal fans probably not too happy with that one.
No, they weren't too happy, but it was just something different. I thought, with Ronaldo, maybe I could score a goal or something. That didn't work, so I thought go back to your original team and why not?
The mighty Gunners, of course. Hopefully, you can give them some success in this tournament, at least anyway.
I just want to score. That's all.
Well, guys, good luck in your game, and we're excited to see it. Well, here we go into the quarterfinals of the Solidarity Challenge here. And it will be Sir Mo Farah going up against Liv Cook to kick things off. Liv will be playing as Manchester United, and Mo Farah playing as his favourite team, Arsenal, of course. When is Juventus last time? Right, I'll tell you what, it's a chance straight off the rip there for Liv Cook, but an easy enough save for Bernd Leno. Do you think he'll be his? And it's very much a case of getting these passes quite directly through. Here we go. Mo Farah's first chance, and a straight into one from Lacazette. Slides into it. From the edge of the box. It's a good save by Bernd Leno once again. Who's going to get there? Is it Wan-Bissaka or Saka? Looks like a foul and a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, this one just a bit clumsy, wasn't it, from Saka?
Anybody on the edge of the box you don't want with the ball at his feet is Paul Pogba, but a good deflection there. I think it's Mustafi who gets in the way. Hector Bellerin should be able to recover this one. And we'll skip past Martial as well. Oh. Good touch inside. Can he find the pass to Pepe? Not quite. McShaw's all over it now. Can Juan Mata do something here for Liv Cook now? Rashford to Fernandes. Can't quite find it. It's been a tight game, but can't quite get anything going there. And this potential counter-attacking opportunity. Bruno Fernandes is going to send Rashford, but he is indeed offside. And he's running maybe just a touch early there, Harry.
Just a touch, and you can tell.
Can he get it out? Not quite. Rashford now with a big opportunity. Bernd Leno is there again. The pass was maybe the wiser option, but goes for goal with Mark. Liv Cook is really knocking, if not banging on the door.
Well, it's an ambitious strike, that one.
I mean, if that goes in, we might as well just cancel the rest of the tournament.
Exactly, that's it. He's won.
20 in-game minutes still to decide. Bruno Fernandes with room to run into. Daniel James. Oh, skips by his defender. First big chance of the game. And Daniel James will put Manchester United and Liv Cook in the lead. And you have to say it's deserved. The Welshman puts it in after a delicious ball by Bruno Fernandes. It's a really well-worked goal, and it's a good finish. 1-0 to Manchester United. Well, here we go then. 18 in-game minutes with Sir Mo Farah to try and get back into this one. It's only a 1-goal deficit. But Liv is once again coming forward. Mustafi with some good defensive work, but Daniel James is in here again. Can he find a quick brace? It's not far away from the top right corner. Back to Lingard. Look for the push inside. Xhaka forces his man down. Now what's happening here then? It's a yellow card for Granit Xhaka. A free kick now for Bruno Fernandes to take for Manchester United for Liv Cook now. Oh, it's a good save by Leno. We're ticking into extra time here as well. Bellerin, can he get it forward in time? I don't think there's going to be enough on the clock for Mo Farah to do anything here. It goes backwards, and that will be it. Liv Cook will be your winner and will go through to the semi-final with a 1-0 win over Arsenal and Sir Mo Farah. I mean, firstly, let's go to Liv. Congratulations for getting through. And the goal, it has to be said, it felt like it was coming. Plenty of pressure in the second half and definitely had plenty of chances as well.
I seem to wake up in the second half. I've come to realise this. First half with JJ, he was a bit better. Second half, I woke up, banged the goals in. And I think the same happened again. I'm a bit annoyed. I missed a couple of sitters, but a win's a win. 1-0, 2-0, it doesn't matter as long as
and Sermo, we've seen a couple of opportunities from yourself, but no penalties this time round, unfortunately, for you. And you will go out. But a good performance either way. Were you happy with how you played?
Yeah, I was definitely better than last game. So for me, it was just, it was better than last game. But at the same time, you know, she played well. She deserved to win, and she had some good chances, man. I think she could have easily beat me 3-0 easily with the chances. But at the same time, you know, I gave her best, and of course I want to win. And I'm gutted that I've lost, but at the same time, she played me and outclassed me.
I mean, you won last time with Juventus, and Arsenal have let you down here. So are we blaming the teams, or?
No, it was just myself, to be honest. It's not the team that I thought, you know, Aubameyang on the wide, he can come in and run through it. But yeah, I just couldn't pass the ball. She just, you know, played well and covered every move, and I feel like I had no space.
I mean, there was plenty of pressure coming in for you from you, Liv, and I mean, speaking to the pros, did they help you out in how to defeat Mo here? Were they telling you to play high pressure, or were they just trying to help you learn the controls like everybody else is seemingly trying to do?
Do you know, when I played with a pro from PES, the world champion that I FaceTimed, everyone thinks like we were playing for ages and all this. He just told me how to shoot. I didn't know how to shoot. I asked him how to shoot. And then of the game, just not touching the ball. It was dribbling around me, absolutely humiliating me. So, no, he didn't give me any tips in terms of pressure or anything. I think I just wanted the ball back. I don't like not being in possession. I like to get the ball and be attacking.
Excellent. Well, you both played very well. Thank you very much for the game, guys. And good luck for yourself, Liv, in the semi-finals. And Sermo, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, good luck to you all the way. You can do it. I believe in you. No pressure. Well played. Okay, see you later. Bye.
Thanks, guys. So there you go. Liv Cook will win her game against Sir Mo Farah. Manchester United against Arsenal this time round. I mean, Liv marches on. She's already beat two really, really high-level competitors here. And can she go all the way? That's the question I'm going to ask you, Harry.
I think so. I honestly think so. I mean, she needs a bit of the rub of the green to go her way. She said it herself in the post-match interview. She wasn't happy with herself, missing a few sitters, I think she noted. So she'll have to go back to the drawing board, the virtual training session, and maybe work on some of the shooting. But I think we can certainly consider her a contender at this point. She's in the semi-finals now. She's in the final four. So she could go all the way.
She definitely could. And, she played really, really well. Commiserations to Sir Mo Farah, of course. But honestly, it was a really, really good game, and I'm interested to see how she does as things go on. But just to remind you guys once again why we are here doing the Solidarity Challenge. Of course, it is for the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund by the WHO. If you go to www.solidaritychallenge.org, you can donate there, and every single penny will go towards the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. So make sure you do donate if you can. Of course, the whole world fighting against this pandemic, and maybe we can help here. Now, let's talk about the next game. Antoine Griezmann, Blaise Matuidi is the last game of the day. Are we excited for this one, Harry?
Oh, yes, of course. Two French compatriots going up against each other. They'll no doubt be friends in the national team dressing room, but now I'm sure this is for bragging rights, definitely.
Absolutely. Two World Cup winners going up against each other here on the virtual pitch. You don't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of day number 2 of the Solidarity Challenge here. Our final game is an absolute cracker. It will be Antoine Griezmann taking on Blaise Matuidi. And Antoine Griezmann, very much the favourite for this tournament. Harry, we've seen him at work already with a 5-0 win in his first game. Excited to see him take on his French teammate.
Yes, two French compatriots going up against each other, two that are playing at the highest level that football can offer you in Europe as well. So, yeah, should be a really fun one here. No doubts for a bit of bragging rights in the French dressing room as well. I think this should be a really fun matchup to watch.
Blaise Matuidi didn't look too bad in his first game either, so we're interested to see how they're going to do. But just to remind you guys exactly why, as we do close out day number 2, we are doing the Solidarity Challenge. Of course, it is to support the WHO with their COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. You can donate at www.solidaritychallenge.org. Every single penny does go towards helping the fight against the coronavirus. But before we do get into the ever important game, we're going to chat to the players. Okay, Blaise, Antoine, your game coming up in the quarterfinals. Obviously, French teammates in an international team. How is it going to be playing against each other?
Ouais, ça fait toujours plaisir. Moi, c'est vrai que c'est la première fois qu'on va se rencontrer à distance. C'est sûr qu'Antoine, c'est un grand joueur de console, donc je m'attends à un match difficile et puis je m'attends aussi peut-être à me faire chambrer quand je vais le retrouver en sélection. Mais bon, c'est comme ça. On va voir. On va essayer de le titiller un peu.
Ouais, bah, moi je suis très content déjà de voir Blaise parce que ça fait longtemps que je l'avais pas vu. En plus en bonne santé, souriant. Et voilà, normalement, si j'ai un bon jour, normalement, il en prend 4. Donc voilà, on va essayer de faire un gros match et de s'amuser.
How has your practice gone ahead of the game?
Bah écoute, moi, je me suis pas entraîné, mais bon, des fois ça, sur un coup de poker,
sur un jour, sur un match.
Voilà, peut-être c'est mon jour aujourd'hui, on sait pas.
Non, moi non plus, je me suis pas entraîné. Enfin, si, j'ai joué hier soir, mais 2-3 matchs. Mais donc c'est pour ça, il peut avoir une surprise parce que j'ai pas eu d'entraînement aujourd'hui. Donc voilà, on sait jamais.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Merci.
Merci.
So here we go. French teammates on the international level. Antoine Griezmann against Blaise Matuidi. Barcelona against Juventus. Always a good game in real life. Can it be a good one here between these two on the virtual pitch, Harry?
Well, it should be, and it should be another fun one because both of these two controlling the teams they represent in the real world as well, so they should be well versed on the tactics and the strengths and weaknesses that we see so often in PES come to be the difference maker come the end of the day. So it should be a really fun match.
Antoine Griezmann, the overwhelming favourite, it has to be said. Not just for this game, but for the whole tournament. Can he do a job here against his countryman, and Blaise Matuidi, who is well versed in PES as well, it seems. In his first game, well, I said that as he's about to give the ball away there and completely curse him, but his first game he managed to bag 3 against Amandine Henry. So can he continue that goal-scoring form? Piqué now nearly giving it away to Ronaldo here. A little bit of a shaky start for both players.
Just looking at the team composition of Griezmann here, his Barcelona squad features starting 11 with Messi, Dembele, Suarez and Griezmann all starting. Often you'll see a substitute beat one of those players, so I'm not too sure exactly how he's going to rotate his subs, whether or not he plans to substitute any players or not. We'll have to see, but it's an interesting dynamic.
Oh, Dembele, he's actually going to be able to grab the ball here as well. Luis Suarez! 1-0. And you felt as if anyone was going to break the duck first, it was going to be Antoine Griezmann. 14 in-game minutes gone, and the Uruguayan will pounce on the chance. With a great finish at the top right corner, 1-0 to Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah, heavy favourite for this match is Griezmann. And it's Dembele winning the ball back, feeding Suarez. And the only one not featured in the build-up there was Antoine Griezmann. Not sure where he was. I think he's playing down that near side, but I'm sure the real-world Antoine Griezmann won't mind one bit as his Uruguayan teammate strikes it right into the top corner. Absolutely no way for the Juventus keeper to even get anything on that, so it's advantage to Antoine here early on.
Can Blaise Matuidi answer back quickly? Honestly, it came from a little bit of a mistake as well. Ousmane Dembele, I think, dispossessed either Juan Cuadrado or Matthias de Ligt. This time around, though, Piqué will easily deal with the run coming in from Cristiano Ronaldo, and that probably is going to go out for a throw into Barcelona.
Matuidi needs to be careful here, Chris, because Griezmann's shown in the past when he gets one goal, it often, well, it's followed up by 2, 3 or 4 before the final whistle, so Matuidi needs to keep his concentration levels here.
Maybe a bit of a misinput there by Suarez as he plays it back over, but in the end has found its way to De Jong with a loose pass to Cristiano Ronaldo. Back to De Jong though, Ronaldo's given it away. Suarez, oh, he's got Dembele here, it's a lovely flick. Oh, it's not far away, you know, from Ousmane Dembele finding the back of the net. Just look at this little flick by Luis Suarez. Little back heel. And you've got to say he's got a score there. A really, really big chance, Harry.
Deserved better, didn't it? Just such a nice no-look back heel from Suarez, who almost turned provider there. That would have been nice.
Messi. Oh, he's found Suarez. It's a great run. It's a really, really good finish and a great goal. We said once Griezmann finds the back of the net once, more goals start to flow. That might just be the case here. 23 minutes gone. It is 2-0 to Antoine Griezmann's Barcelona.
Well, we can see here it's another dispossessing of the Juventus backline. Blaise Matuidi just dwelling on the ball with his defensive line, and you can't give the ball away in the final third and expect a player of Antoine Griezmann's quality not to try and find a player like Suarez. And it's just a little poke, isn't it? Into the back of the net. The celebration with the captain, Messi, who, well, we questioned why all 4 of the attackers were starting for Griezmann's Barcelona here. I think he's proven us wrong. I think he wants to try and score as many goals as possible here in this round and try and advance into the final 4 as soon as possible. Matuidi, well, he needs to be careful not to concede any more. And first and foremost, Chris, he needs to get at least 1 back.
Dybala. And Blaise Matuidi just really hasn't been able to get anything going in Antoine Griezmann's third. He's not going to get anything here either. Lionel Messi will pick up the ball. Ousmane Dembele has got runners in front of him as well. Space to run into himself. Out wide now to Antoine Griezmann. You don't want to let him get it on his left foot. Good defensive work by the Juventus side to track back. A big opportunity once again, and Antoine Griezmann is going to continue to get more as Blaise Matuidi has to push forward with his Juventus side.
I was just watching Suarez's movement there. Was running the wrong way for Griezmann to play it to him. Suarez was in support, but going the wrong way.
Semedo looking for the cross in, won't be able to quite find it. Jordi Alba now down this left-hand side. Ousmane Dembele to Frankie de Jong. Oh, that's a misplaced pass, though, and maybe something in the offing for Juventus, but once again, the ball is given away, and suddenly there's another chance. Ousmane Dembele trying to turn inside, but that will be put behind for a corner.
Dembele's been a real terror on that far side. Matuidi struggled to cope.
Oh. I mean, I'm not too sure what's going on there, but Nelson Semedo has now found himself with a chance in the box. The corner comes in. I mean, I'm not even quite sure how that's happened, but Semedo bluffing a very good opportunity right back or not. You'd like to see that one nestle in the back of the net if you're Nelson Semedo.
Matuidi's just gone missing so far in this first half. Really needs to turn up and put an attack together of some conviction before the first half ends. Otherwise, Griezmann will just run away with this.
Dybala can't turn onto his favoured left foot there. Looked to nick the ball away and try and get something going, but could not. Griezmann. Messi now running from midfield. That's runners with Suarez and Ousmane Dembele in front of him. Suarez now probably going to go back to his right back, Nelson Semedo. Frankie de Jong on the edge of the box, looking to orchestrate where he can. Jordi Alba now. A great move by Barcelona here. Messi. Twisting and turning, trying to get rid of defenders. He finds Luis Suarez. It's another good block, and if you are Blaise Matuidi, you are living dangerously. Semedo. Pass inside to Lionel Messi, to de Jong. It's just building, isn't it? The pressure is coming consistently. Messi at the front post. Squeezes past the defender, but can't squeeze the ball inside the net. It's just such a well-worked move, once again, by Antoine Griezmann. Patient and precise when it needs to be, but Messi not precise enough with that opportunity.
Well, it's the Barcelona way of playing, isn't it? It's just letting the ball do the work there for Griezmann, working on the virtual pitch here as well. And well, for Blaise Matuidi, half-time cannot come soon enough. He's needs to go back to the drawing board, I think. Maybe make some personnel switches for me. Paulo Dybala just hasn't been enough of a presence in the game. Costa's gone missing as well. Just needs to do something to up the ante here against Griezmann.
Suarez. It's a really good touch inside. He's going to find Messi. Can't get the ball out of his feet, though. De Ligt will get in the way. He needs to get this away, though, Blaise Matuidi. He will do. And he is somewhat fortunate to only be 2-0 down at the half. Luis Suarez with the brace for Antoine Griezmann's Barcelona. As we head now into the second 45, we're going to need to see a lot more from Blaise Matuidi here. Matuidi himself trying to find a route through. Cristiano Ronaldo will grab a hold of it. Back to Alexandro, likes to attack himself. Now Ronaldo, can he get past Piqué? No, he cannot. Really good strength by the Spaniard. Semedo and Busquets will linked together to clear this one away, and Messi to try and be the catalyst for another attack here for Barcelona.
Just not getting enough players involved in the attack as he currently Blaise. Needs to maybe go into a bit more of an attacking mode. Once he does have the ball, he's trying to go forward all the time, trying to hit on the counter, and this is better. A bit of a sideways pass there. Happy to shield possession. This is what he needs to do more of, and just wait for his runners to come in support just like this.
Sandro now does have men in the box as well. Chooses to go towards back post. Douglas Costa. He's a couple of inches taller. The deficit is half that.
First real chance for Blaise Matuidi, and it comes in the 54th minute. Signs of encouragement though. I think he's identified exactly what he's done wrong so far and how he's been completely undone and outclassed by Antoine. Hopefully we'll see more of that to come in the second half. And again, realistically, a goal within the next 10 or so in-game minutes gives him a good fighting chance for the rest of this match to maybe come back.
Although a goal here from Antoine Griezmann would have made it nigh on impossible. That's an opportunity. Probably Suarez has got to be scoring. Dembele waits for the overcommit from Cuadrado. The left foot of Luis Suarez can only find the advertising on the side of the pitch. That's an unfortunate one. That's one Griezmann would have wanted to put away. And at 3-0, Harry, you think that's done and dusted?
Yeah, he's had a few, hasn't he, Griezmann? You think back to the first half where he had that spell of dominant possession here on eFootball PES. Those chances, no doubt, will keep coming for him as Matuidi keeps making mistakes, but he certainly would have liked to have had more than 2 goals at this point.
Oh, Griezmann now. It's a really good run. It's a really good strike and an equally as good save out of Szczesny. Just falls to the feet of Griezmann. Can't quite find the back of the net.
First touch from Griezmann there. Absolutely perfect to get a clean strike away.
Messi now to whip this one in. Dembele at the back post. Not going to beat Blaise Matuidi that. Busquets. Alba looking for the pass into Messi. Can't quite find it. Might have another chance to do so, though. Shrugs off Cuadrado. Messi now. A few options in front of him. One to his right-hand side with Semedo. Inside now to Luis Suarez. Trying to wriggle free. Can't quite. Maybe a counter-attacking opportunity here for Cristiano Ronaldo and Juventus. Gets it away down the left-hand side. Ronaldo now. Oh, cynical from Sergio Busquets. Goes lunging in. CO7 has put down that. Maybe an opportunity here from the free kick for Blaise Matuidi to try and get back into this game.
It's not a nice tackle, but might be a bit of a tactical one there from Antoine. I think he realises that Blaise might be more threatening on the counter than when he does actually have possession. So maybe he was just trying to get men behind the ball, prevent the virtual attack coming in from Blaise Matuidi.
What a ball that is by Frankie de Jong. Oh, my word. Griezmann inside the box, has the square on if he wants it. Cuts to his right. De Ligt is all over it. That will be a corner, but that is absolutely electric from Frankie de Jong. Semedo now. Cross in towards Suarez. Goes all the way through. Bonucci eventually is going to be able to deal with it here. It's a good ball out, actually, to Paulo Dybala. Matuidi now to Sandro. Constantly looking for Cristiano Ronaldo on these attacks. Still a threat with the stat balance, Harry, but maybe not as proficient as he maybe would be in a standard Juventus statistically on PES.
Certainly not, but time is running out here for Blaise. He needs to try and get a goal off the next attack, really. Otherwise, Griezmann could just play possession until the final whistle.
Oh, Suarez. Good move by Griezmann. This will go back to Szczesny. He's shanked it clear. Ramsey will get this one out. Good battling by Lionel Messi, though. Dembele has been released by de Jong. Straight into De Ligt.
There's been a couple of those, Chris, where Blaise has got the reading of Antoine, knows what he wants to do with these fake shots.
Busquets now to Messi, to Busquets, to Suarez. The pass just wanders by, but De Ligt and Szczesny getting the wires crossed there. Substitutes made. Vidal coming on for Messi, for Griezmann. They're trying to just shore things up here. A couple of others yet as well, as Antoine Griezmann looks to try and solidify this victory. Offside there down the right-hand side for Barcelona. But tactical subs coming in here, Harry, makes sense, you feel, to bring off Messi for somebody a little bit more defensive in Toure Vidal.
Yeah, not only that, you also limit yourself, and that's a big mistake here.
Oh, the chip is going to make it in. Side netting. Another huge opportunity for Antoine Griezmann's Barcelona. It's just passed out far too easily. And the chance cannot be taken. Szczesny and Blaise Matuidi almost punished.
Matuidi gets away with that one. Goal kick on target this time round to Bonucci. But, well, the point I was going to make is you limit yourself when you do start the four of Dembele, Suarez, Griezmann and Messi. So you're limited, really, especially if you're playing Messi in the 10 or in midfield, as Griezmann was. You have to bring on a player like Vidal to make the like-for-like switch.
Oh, Braithwaite's in on the right-hand side. Lays it back to Antoine Griezmann. Gets the goal he wanted with himself. It's now 3-0. And Griezmann is surely going through to the semi-final. Very, very well played. Blaise Matuidi just not at the races in this game and couldn't get anything going. That's surely done and dusted now.
No way back for Blaise Matuidi. Had a great first round, but it's here in the quarters that he falls. And you're right, it's the goal that Antoine wanted. I mean, he had Braithwaite in clean as you like. Saw, well, his virtual self just breaking off after the 1-2. None of the Juventus defenders can get back and track early enough. But Matthijs de Ligt, I think it was, the closest to him. But Antoine Griezmann, I mean, there's the goal. That will mean a lot to him, I think, being able to score with his virtual self in the Solidarity Challenge here. And, well, solidify his place now, Chris, in the final four.
Blaise Matuidi just hasn't been able to get anything going. Only one chance to really speak of. It's been a dominant performance from Antoine Griezmann against his countrymen. He's looking to maybe add insult to injury. Collado inside now. Arturo Vidal turning in the box. It's for the Chilean. Adding salt in the wounds. As Griezmann just runs rampant. Juventus have been beaten, and they've been beaten well. Blaise Matuidi. Unfortunately, next time you and Antoine Griezmann see each other, I think he might be giving you some stick for this.
There'll be some banter and some bragging rights on the line. Certainly going to be in Antoine Griezmann's favour. Love this turn by Vidal. He's a player I actually have in my club squad, Chris, and I can tell you the amount of times he's done that, either in midfield or in and around the box, has got me a few goals. So I wasn't questioning at all that like-for-like substitute of Vidal for Messi comes on. Still crops up in similar areas to Leo. Does Arturo. And Griezmann now, in style, finishes Blaise Matuidi off.
4-0. A really, really convincing win from Antoine Griezmann, who will now head into his semi-final. And he's got to still surely be the favourite. So, Antoine, does this win feel extra special considering it's against your international teammate?
Ouais, on est très heureux du côté de Barcelone. On a battu la Juve de Blaise Matuidi et voilà, puis beaucoup de personnes vont voir que je lui ai mis 4-0, que je l'avais annoncé, donc on est très heureux.
Blaise, is there anything you could have done differently?
Ah, je le savais à l'avance que ça allait être difficile et bah voilà, j'ai rencontré l'un des meilleurs de ce jeu, donc
la connexion peut-être aurait pu améliorer.
Ouais, voilà, je pense que si j'avais la connexion qu'il fallait, ça aurait été mieux. Mais bon, c'est comme ça. Et puis j'ai pas joué chez moi, j'ai pas joué à la maison au final. Au final, je me retrouve.
On fera un tournoi.
Voilà, il faudra faire un remake. Que je me retrouve chez moi dans les bonnes conditions, ça sera mieux. Non, mais félicitations à Antoine. Franchement, il mérite d'aller au bout parce que c'est un grand joueur de console, comme dans la vie, bien sûr. Et ça, je le savais avant de l'affronter. Donc, j'espère qu'il va aller au bout et qu'il va gagner.
Blaise, will you be embarrassed the next time you see Antoine after this?
Ah, je vais me faire tout petit, hein. Parce que je sais, la première chose qu'il va me dire, je sais ce que ça va être. Hein.
On échangera les maillots,
Thank you very much, guys.
En revanche, dans la vraie vie.
Oh, non, quand même, bisous.
Well, there we go then. What a game from Antoine Griezmann specifically to close out day 2 of the Solidarity Challenge. And Harry, that was as convincing of a win as we have seen so far.
Yeah, bit disappointed out of Blaise Matuidi, I'm not going to lie. I mean, considering he was, controlling his virtual self, his virtual team, he's proven so far in the Solidarity Challenge that he can score from open play. I was expecting a bit more of a fight, maybe a few more goals against Antoine there, but we know Antoine is probably the likely favourite for this entire tournament, and it's all for a bit of fun anyway, isn't it? So, yeah, credit to Blaise, he put up a good run, but unfortunately, this is where we say goodbye.
Yeah, I think though, if you're a Blaise, you don't want to lose to your international teammate, do you? It's got to be one that does sting. But let's bring you through what we have went through already here in the Solidarity Challenge. Of course, in round number 1, we had some fantastic games, but we had to lose 8 of our 16 celebrities here in the tournament. Here are the results that took place in round number 1. And I mean, looking at some of them, I think obviously the standout would be from Antoine Griezmann. It was just emphatic win against Ludovic Julie, but a couple of 0-0s in there, a couple of penalty shootouts going the way of a couple of other players. But the closest game in there probably was Danny Kerr against Mathieu Bastereau, and a really good game between the two rugby players. But good games across the board between everybody. Some really good play out of Antoine Griezmann, of course. Liv Cook looked really good against Jermaine Genius as well. But moving on to the quarterfinals, of course, we've already seen 2. We do have 2 more to see, though. It is going to be Scott McTominay taking on Robert Perez and Giorgio Chiellini against Danny Kerr. Do you think those 2 games are going to be good, Harry?
Yeah, they should be good ones. Again, we have a great range of celebrities and a range of sportsmen and women on show here in the Solidarity Challenge, most of which probably won't be too well versed in the world of PES, so that should give us some entertainment. We've already seen some tremendous games already. Excited for the remainder of the tournament.
Absolutely. There's still a lot of good players left in this one. We've seen some really good PES from a couple of players, some not so good PES from some others. But just to remind you guys at home why we are doing the Solidarity Challenge. Of course, it is to support the WHO in their fight against coronavirus, to support the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. You can donate directly from home at www.solidaritychallenge.org. Every single penny goes to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. Been a fun day on day number 2 here of the Solidarity Challenge, but we've got the final day and we will be crowning a winner tomorrow. We will see you then.